What if I told you that 5 minutes could change your entire life? That within those sacred moments you could send a silent command into the infinite and watch the world bend to your will without ever speaking a word aloud. Would you try it? Or doubt it? Years ago, I tested something most would call impossible. I was living in a modest flat, and I had just read about the silent power of mental transmission, what some might label telepathy. I was curious, not convinced, so I tried an experiment. There was a friend I had not seen in years, someone whose connection with me had long faded. I sat down one evening, closed my eyes, and imagined them standing before me. I did not say a word. I simply felt the warmth of their presence, heard their laughter in my mind, and saw their face light up as if I were physically there. I did this for exactly 5 minutes each night, no more. On the fourth day, the phone rang. It was them. With no prompting, no cause, they had just felt the need to speak with me. From that moment on, I knew thought is not limited to the brain. It is a current that moves across invisible dimensions and shapes the world. And when it is directed with intensity, repetition, and feeling, there is nothing it cannot accomplish. Now let me show you how to use this same principle in just 5 minutes a day to manifest faster than ever before. To manifest faster, you must recognize that imagination is not idle daydreaming. It is the broadcasting tower of your inner world. When you use a 5-minute manifestation routine focused through imagination, you are sending out your desire with clarity. Telepathic manifestation is not about forcing the external, but tuning the internal. Imagine the scene as vividly as possible and feel it as though it is happening now. This activates your subconscious mind and sends the signal across consciousness itself. Before you begin your routine, silence the world around you. No music, no noise, no distraction. A quiet mind is a powerful one. The 5-minute law of attraction routine must begin in mental stillness, for that is the state in which the deeper subconscious awakens. Think of this moment as when your inner voice becomes loud enough to echo into the fabric of reality. Perform this telepathic technique daily at the same hour. Consistency is what stabilizes the vibration. Repeating your visualization or inner conversation is how you energize the blueprint of your desire. This is how your manifestation technique becomes a living pattern, not just a fleeting thought. Imagination creates reality only when paired with emotion. As you enter your 5-minute session, generate the actual feelings of already having what you want. If it is love, feel cherished. If it is money, feel freedom. Raise your vibration in those few minutes and you will bypass the logical mind. This energy alignment technique transforms thought into a living force. A truly powerful 5-minute routine is not just visual, it's full sensory. Hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the scents of your imagined scene. Involve your entire being. The more real it feels internally, the faster the subconscious accepts it as already true. That is how you manifest desires quickly, without strain. When you close your eyes and imagine, focus on the space between your eyebrows. This is your third eye, your point of telepathic contact. While this is not magic, it activates the spiritual manifestation practice passed through ancient schools. Direct your intention through that center. Imagine your thought traveling outward from that point, as a light carrying your will across the quantum field. As soon as your 5-minute telepathic session ends, do not wonder, analyze, or hope. Instead, live the rest of your day as if the transfer was successful. Walk in the knowing. This is how the law of assumption manifestation works. It assumes first and lets reality follow. Your job is never to make it happen. It is only to embody the version of you for whom it already has. Begin each day with a short internal dialogue. Imagine someone congratulating you. Hear your own voice affirming your success. These inner talks become commands to the universe. This isn't merely positive thinking, it is mental architecture. Your world is built from these unseen blueprints, and when practiced daily, these mental conversations become your most powerful subconscious mind activation. Everything begins within. Nothing that you see outside of you was born outside of you. The entire world, all that you call real, is but a mirror held up to your inner activity. The only place creation begins is in the imagination. When you understand this, you begin to treat your inner world with reverence, with purpose, and with discipline. Imagination is not a secondary power. It is the first cause of all phenomena. When you imagine something clearly, when you see it in vivid detail and feel it in full emotion, you are not simply fantasizing, you are initiating a wave, a movement in consciousness that will inevitably take form. But imagination is not a vague wish. It is an act of spiritual construction. It is a transmitter, a divine broadcast station that sends your assumed reality out into the quantum field of infinite possibility. What you focus on, you tune to. What you emotionally energize, you invite in. And what you persist in, you become. When you sit down for your 5-minute manifestation routine, you are not engaging in a passive exercise. You are stepping into the creator's seat. Just as a musician would tune their instrument before a performance, you tune your consciousness before life responds. In those 5 minutes, your entire being should be aligned with one goal: to send out a complete, clear, and living picture of your desired outcome. There is no outer action more powerful than the inner alignment created in that sacred window of silence and stillness. Close your eyes, not to shut out the world, but to open the inner one. The world inside you is the real world. All outer manifestation is merely echo. In those moments, imagine vividly what it is you wish to experience. If it is a home, walk through it. If it is love, feel embraced by it. If it is abundance, sense the security, the luxury, the relief that comes with it. Do not simply watch this like a movie. Enter into it. Be it. See through the eyes of the version of you who already lives this life. That is the secret. The assumption must become identity. This act is not make-believe. You are not pretending. You are constructing reality at its most foundational level. The world may not yet reflect it, but it must, because consciousness is cause, and form follows feeling. You may not know how the thing you desire will arrive, but that is not your work. Your task is to embody it, to transmit it as a living reality from the center of your being. Once you do, the universe, being obedient to consciousness, must unfold events that bring you into alignment with that inner state. There are those who will tell you this is foolishness. They live by the visible and ignore the invisible. But what is visible is dead, fixed, unchanging. The invisible is alive, fluid, and creative. Imagination belongs to the realm of spirit, and the spiritual realm governs the material. Therefore, the one who controls imagination controls destiny. But you must not waver. A scattered imagination sends a scattered signal. You cannot think of your desire as a visitor who drops in occasionally. It must become your dwelling place. You must live in the end. That means your 5-minute telepathic routine is not simply a ritual. It is a relocation. You are moving mentally into the state of the wish fulfilled. You are assuming the role, rehearsing the experience, and embodying the result long before it appears in the outer world. When you do this, you are not alone. Every vibration you emit becomes a call. The universe, like a great field of potential, responds to your transmission by reshuffling its contents to match your dominant frequency. That is the meaning behind ask and it is given. But you must ask in silence. Ask with feeling. Ask by being. And this kind of asking is done only through imagination. There is no power outside of this. Every other tool, Every other technique, every other method is secondary to this one great truth. Imagine the life you want to live and assume its reality with feeling, repetition, and faith. If you will do this, even for just 5 minutes a day, you will bend time, dissolve obstacles, and watch as the world remolds itself around your inner command. The creative act takes no more time than belief requires. There are those who manifest in an instant, not because the world is different to them, but because their inner vision is unshakable. They live not by sight, but by insight. They speak not from doubt, but from knowing. They walk not toward the promise, they walk from it. So I tell you again, your imagination is not idle. It is the divine transmitter through which you speak the language of creation. Honor it, use it, and never again say, I don't know how. You know how. It is within you, it has always been, and it is waiting only for your command. If you truly wish to create with power, then understand this. The most fertile ground for manifestation is not action, it is stillness. In a world obsessed with movement, noise, and striving, we have forgotten the sacredness of quiet. We have been trained to believe that doing is superior to being, that speaking is superior to listening, and that effort is the key to achievement. But creation does not respond to effort. It responds to consciousness, and consciousness deepens in silence. Stillness is not passive, it is intensely active on the inner plane. Stillness is not emptiness, it is a container of pure potential, where the seen is conceived in the unseen. It is in stillness that you align yourself with the truth of who you are, a creator. Every external manifestation begins with internal stillness, for that is where the signal is clean, the frequency undisturbed, and the spiritual ear tuned to receive. Before you begin your 5-minute manifestation routine, you must enter into the sacred chamber of the mind, undisturbed, undistracted, and unattached to the outer world. This is not meditation for the sake of relaxation. It is divine preparation. You are preparing the mind to transmit, to send a telepathic command to the field of infinite intelligence. In stillness, you clear the clutter of the day, you step out of time, you silence the voice that says, this isn't working, this takes too long, or this is not real. That voice belongs to the world of facts, not truth. And truth is what you are now aligning with. As you become still, your mental waves slow down, your brain moves from beta to alpha and possibly into theta. These are not just names for brain states. They are portals, they are states in which the subconscious becomes receptive, and the subconscious is the doorway to the infinite. It is not your conscious desire that manifests, but what your subconscious accepts as real. And the only way to speak to the subconscious effectively is through stillness, repetition, and feeling. Stillness is the gateway through which divine ideas pass. When you are still, you are no longer reacting, you are creating. And in those moments of divine quiet, you gain access to the most powerful form of communication there is, the silent word. The silent word is not thoughtless. It is charged with feeling. It is deliberate. It is intentional. When you enter the 5-minute manifestation space through stillness, you are not just imagining, you are impressing. You are pressing upon the subconscious, a living picture, alive with belief and emotion. To enter this state, you do not need candles, crystals, or chants. You need only yourself. You need willingness. You need to step away from the demands of the senses and return to the command center of the soul, the place where all becomes quiet, where you can hear the inner voice saying, it is already done. Stillness is the moment you stop looking and start knowing. It is the breath between thoughts, the pause between heartbeats, the sanctuary of power that no one else can enter but you. Some may ask, why is silence necessary if I already know what I want? And the answer is simple: noise disrupts signal. Conflicting thoughts weaken intention. When your mind is crowded with images of failure, doubt, or urgency, your creative broadcast becomes static. The telepathic transmission is scrambled. But in stillness, your desire becomes laser sharp. You are no longer asking, you are declaring. And the declaration made in silence is more powerful than 1,000 spoken words. There is a rhythm to manifestation, and stillness is the downbeat. It is the empty space that gives shape to sound. It is the rest note that makes the melody possible. When you honor the stillness before your daily practice, you are preparing the soil for the seed. Without it, you may scatter your vision on hard ground and wonder why nothing grows. But when you take time to become still, to truly silence the senses, you awaken a deeper power. You move from surface to center. And in that center, you find the creative current. You find the feeling of what it's like to already have what you seek. You're no longer projecting forward in time. You are collapsing time entirely. The feeling of desire fulfilled becomes real, not in the world, but in you. And because all things come from within, it is only a matter of time before the outer reflects the inner with stunning accuracy. Even 5 minutes of intentional stillness can shift the course of your life. It is not the length of time that matters, it is the depth of absorption. Stillness sharpens focus, magnifies an intent, and tunes you to the frequency of the result. That is why those who master the quiet place become masters of their world. They need not struggle, compete, or manipulate. They align, and alignment is the highest form of action. So when you sit to perform your daily telepathic routine, begin not with effort, but with stillness. Empty yourself of noise, opinion, fear, and thought. Allow the mind to become a blank canvas. Then, when the image of your desire is painted upon it, it will shine with clarity, intensity, and truth. And because it is truth within, it must become form without. Such is the power of the still and silent mind. Nothing becomes real to man unless it becomes habitual to his mind. One single thought, however powerful, fades like a whisper in the wind if not repeated. But the same thought, impressed again and again with feeling, begins to take on life. It becomes substance. It begins to harden into fact. Repetition is not the act of begging, it is the act of building. What you repeat inwardly becomes the world you see outwardly. For consciousness does not reward the occasional, it rewards the persistent. The subconscious mind accepts only what is impressed upon it through repetition and emotion. It does not judge, it does not reason, it simply obeys. It does not care whether what you feed it is true or false, good or bad, joyful or dreadful. It responds to the dominant pattern. And that pattern is formed by what you think repeatedly. Every day, with or without your awareness, you are repeating something. You are either repeating the truth of your desire fulfilled or the lie of your limitations. When you create a 5-minute daily telepathic routine, you are not merely visualizing once and leaving the rest to chance. You are engaging in the most sacred practice, reminding the self who it truly is. You are embedding the image of the fulfilled desire so deeply that it becomes a part of you. And once something becomes a part of you, it must be expressed. Think of the mind like a garden. A single thought is a seed. If left alone, it may sprout and then wither, choked by weeds or forgotten. But if you plant that seed each morning and water it each night, the roots grow deep, the plant becomes resilient, and soon it blooms. The repetition is the water, the repetition is the sunlight. Without it, the idea cannot grow into reality. To lock in the frequency of your desire, you must treat it like a song. You don't hear a melody once and expect to remember every note. You play it over and over until your mind hums it automatically. So it is with your assumptions. You do not simply affirm once, visualize once, or feel once. You return to the scene, the image, the feeling again and again. You persist until it no longer feels like imagination. It feels like memory, and what feels like memory becomes inevitable. Do not mistake repetition for work. This is not toil, it is devotion. It is the daily act of aligning yourself with the truth. If you understood the power of returning each day to the same internal state, the same end, you would never skip your practice. You would honor those 5 minutes as the moment you recalibrate your life. And each time you do, you reinforce the bridge between thought and form. The outer world resists sudden change unless it is first prepared inwardly through repetition. Imagine trying to bend a branch. If you bend it once, it snaps back. But if you keep pressing in the same direction, gently, consistently, it reshapes itself. That is how reality bends, through inner consistency. And that consistency is born from daily, rhythmic repetition of your inner assumption. Repetition is also the cure for doubt. Doubt arises when the mind is scattered, when your assumption has not been made dominant. But the more you revisit the state of the wish fulfilled, the less room there is for contradiction. The mind cannot serve two masters. If you feed it one truth long enough, it forgets the other. So persist. Repeat the image, the words, the feeling, until it is the only truth you know. Do not say to yourself, "But I have done this before." If it has not yet manifested, then the frequency has not yet been stabilized. Repetition is how you stabilize the signal. Think of a radio. You may tune close to the right station, but unless it's exact, there is static. In manifestation, your exact frequency is the combination of what you feel, think, believe, and assume on repeat. When all of those align and repeat without contradiction, the signal is clear. And when the signal is clear, manifestation must occur. Let the 5-minute routine become your daily communion. Let it be sacred. Return to it not with anxiety, but with trust. Repeat the vision as though it were the most precious truth. Say the words that affirm your state. Revisit the scene of your fulfilled desire, not because it isn't done, but because it is. And each repetition is a celebration of that unseen reality. The unseen becomes seen not by chance, but by rhythm. Reality is rhythmic. The tide moves in cycles. The sun rises with precision. The seasons return again and again. All of nature honors repetition, and so should you. When you repeat your desire with consistency, you place yourself in harmony with the laws of life. You stop striving. You begin allowing. Let repetition be the melody of your manifestation. Let it sing softly in your mind throughout the day, and when you lie down at night, let the final thought be of your desire already fulfilled. When the morning comes, return to it again, not because you need it to happen, but because you already know it has, and you are simply dwelling in its echo until it appears. Such is the way of creation. It is not made through strain, but through certainty. And certainty is born not in the mind, but in the rhythm of the heart that knows the truth and speaks it inwardly until the world bows to it. Nothing manifests without feeling. Feeling is the one and only doorway through which the invisible enters the visible. You may imagine all day long, construct beautiful scenes in your mind, repeat words like sacred chants, but if they are void of feeling, they carry no creative power. The world responds not to what you think with your head, but what you feel with your heart. This is not metaphor, it is law. Every moment you dwell in the energy of fulfillment, you are dwelling in the state from which reality is born. It is not enough to know what you want. You must become the one who has it. To do this, you must feel it, not merely believe it, not just visualize it, but enter into the emotional atmosphere of its completion. That which you feel deeply and consistently becomes your world, because your feeling is the evidence of your assumption. It is the signature you imprint upon the subconscious mind, and it is the signal you broadcast to the unseen dimension that shapes your life. When you sit down for your 5-minute manifestation routine, do not merely see the thing you desire, step into it. If it is a home, do not just picture the walls or the view. Feel the warmth of the bed, the softness of the carpet beneath your feet, the scent of your favorite candle in the room. Let yourself be immersed in the sensation of being there, not as an observer, but as a participant. Feel the gratitude that would naturally arise. Feel the contentment. Feel the ease. These are not tricks. They are instructions to the universe. You are not waiting for the manifestation to give you the feeling. You are giving the feeling now, so that the manifestation must come. There is no distance between you and your desire, except the absence of feeling. When you generate the emotional tone of what you want, you collapse the illusion of time and space. The future becomes present, the not yet becomes now. That is why 5 minutes of pure feeling can create more change than years of hard work rooted in doubt. The universe does not reward effort, it mirrors belief, and belief is most potently expressed in emotion. People often ask, what if I don't feel it? What if it doesn't feel real? And the answer is simple: persist until it does. Do not try to force emotion, simply return to the scene, gently, quietly, consistently, and with reverence. Each time you revisit it, the emotional reality becomes more accessible. Like stepping into warm water, it may not feel immediate, but eventually it wraps around you and you forget you ever felt the cold. That is the power of feeling, repeated with intent. It becomes second nature. The feeling of the wish fulfilled must become your dwelling place. Not your vacation, not your occasional visitor, your home. Dwell in it not only during your 5-minute practice, but carry it into your day. Let it influence how you walk, how you speak, how you think. You are not pretending, you are rehearsing the role you are destined to play. And once the rehearsal becomes natural, the curtain will rise and the world will match your performance. If you are manifesting love, do not wait for someone to make you feel love. Become the vibration of love. Feel adored, chosen, safe, and wanted. Feel the affection in every fiber of your being, as though it is already here, and it will be. If you are manifesting wealth, do not wait for the number in the bank account to change. Feel the freedom now. Feel the security. Feel the lightness in your chest. These feelings will not only change your frequency, they will change your actions, your decisions, and the way life responds to you. Feeling is the language of creation. It is what turns shadow into substance, and you are its speaker. The clearer the feeling, the more precise the creation. Do not wait for the outer world to justify your joy. Make joy your cause, and the world will echo it as effect. This is the sacred reversal of the old way of living. Instead of reacting, you are radiating. Instead of hoping, you are knowing. Instead of seeking, you are embodying. And the embodied truth becomes visible truth. You must understand that your emotional state is not private. It is a broadcast. The unseen world picks up your feeling as instruction. It does not care what words you use. It cares how those words move through your body. So feel what you say. When you affirm your new reality, let it be a song that stirs something inside of you. When you visualize, let the scene be so rich with energy that your body responds. Your heart quickens, your breath deepens, your eyes well up with certainty. This is the secret no one tells you. You don't need hours of visualization, rituals, or affirmations shouted into the mirror. You need 5 sacred minutes of deep, genuine feeling. 5 minutes where your body, mind, and soul are in agreement that the thing you desire is already yours. Those 5 minutes repeated daily become the axis around which your world turns. So enter the scene, feel the reality, and dwell in the energy of completion. It is already done. And as you feel that truth, you send out a signal so clear, so pure, that reality must respond. Because reality is not created by thought, it is created by feeling, clothed in thought. That is the law. The world you see is but a reflection of the world you feel and imagine within. To truly manifest, to call forth your desire from the unseen, you must engage not just one sense but all your senses. The imagination is a multi-sensory theater. It is not enough to see a picture in the mind's eye. You must hear it, feel it, taste it, smell it, and live it fully. Only then does the subconscious mind accept it as reality and set the wheels of creation in motion. When you limit your manifestation practice to mere visualizing, you are only sending half a message. The subconscious responds to feeling, and feeling arises through sensory experience. It is the totality of sensory involvement that activates the law of assumption in its fullest potency. Imagine not just the sight of your desire, but the sound of it, the texture, the taste, the warmth, the scent. This richness makes the unseen seen alive and undeniable. Consider a moment when a scent instantly transports you to a place or time. The smell of rain on dry earth, the perfume of a blooming flower, the aroma of freshly baked bread. These evoke vivid memories because the senses are gateways to the soul's deepest memories. When you use your senses in your 5-minute daily telepathic routine, you are accessing these gateways consciously. You open the doors to a reality so tangible that the subconscious cannot distinguish it from physical experience. To manifest effectively, you must paint a full sensory picture in your imagination. If you desire a new home, see the walls, yes, but also hear the creak of the wooden floor beneath your feet. Feel the smoothness of the countertop. Smell the fresh paint mingled with the scent of blooming flowers outside the window. Let the coolness of the marble touch your fingertips. Engage your entire sensory faculty as if you have stepped through the door and become part of this new reality. When you manifest love, do not simply imagine the person's face. Hear their voice, the timbre and warmth of their words. Feel the brush of their hand, the softness of their embrace. Smell the scent that lingers on their clothing. Taste the sweetness of shared moments. This full sensory engagement floods your subconscious with undeniable proof that this reality is yours. The subconscious is not fooled by partial images, but it responds fully to a complete sensory experience. The reason the subconscious mind demands total sensory involvement is because it functions through symbols and experiences, not logic. It is a great artist that paints your world based on the colors you supply. If the picture is incomplete, it hesitates. It waits for more detail. But when the sensory information is abundant and consistent, the subconscious leaps to action. It moves to organize circumstances, people, and events that match your vivid inner reality. Engaging all senses also deepens your emotional involvement. When you see, hear, feel, taste, and smell your desire in your imagination, you no longer merely think about it. You live it. Emotion wells up naturally because the mind and body are convinced the experience is real. Emotion is the current that carries your desire from thought into form. Without full sensory involvement, the emotion is shallow and the current weakens. Moreover, involving the senses helps to anchor your assumption in the present moment. The more detailed your imagined experience, the less it feels like a distant future hope, and the more it feels like a present reality. This collapsing of time is essential for manifestation. When you can taste, hear, and feel your desire now, the universe must respond because it can no longer hold the illusion of separation. Your 5-minute telepathic routine becomes a sacred sensory rehearsal. Each day you practice, you enrich the scene. You add layers of detail. You refine the sensory quality until the imagined moment shines with the brilliance of reality. This is not fantasy. It is the divine art of creation. You are the painter, the actor, and the witness all at once. And as you do this, the subconscious mind recognizes the authority of your vision and sets to work in the invisible. It is important to realize that this sensory practice does not require elaborate effort or lengthy sessions. Even a brief but rich sensory immersion in your imagination creates powerful change. 5 minutes of deeply involving your senses can outweigh hours of shallow visualization. The key is quality and fullness, not quantity. When you involve all your senses, you also strengthen your faith. Faith is born in experience, and sensory experience in the imagination is no less valid than sensory experience in the physical world. You build a reservoir of inner proof that what you desire already exists in you. This reservoir becomes an unshakable foundation for your manifestation. Finally, remember that the senses are the language your subconscious understands best. Words and concepts are secondary to sensory impressions. Speak to your subconscious in the language of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Engage it fully, and it will respond by aligning your reality with the rich, vibrant world you have created within. Involve your entire being. Touch the world you want to see with all your senses and watch as the world answers back in kind. There is a sacred place within you, a silent center where the unseen world meets the seen. It is not found with the eyes of flesh, but with the eyes of spirit. This place is known as the third eye, the point between the eyebrows, where your deepest knowing resides. To connect through the third eye is to awaken the channel through which your will travels beyond the limits of time and space, reaching into the vast field of infinite possibilities. The third eye is not a mere concept or mystical idea. It is the very doorway to telepathic communication with the universe. When you close your eyes and focus your attention on this center, you are not withdrawing, but advancing. Advancing into a realm where thought becomes power, where imagination becomes form. This center is the seat of intuition, vision, and spiritual sight. It is here that your inner self speaks its commands most clearly, and your desires are transmitted as unmistakable signals to the unseen forces that shape reality. To understand the third eye is to understand the language of manifestation. The world you inhabit is the outer echo of your inner state, and the third eye is the instrument of translation. It translates your feelings, assumptions, and imaginations into the invisible currents that flow through the universe, bringing forth the visible world you experience. Without this connection, your thoughts remain scattered, your desires remain fragmented, and your manifestations are delayed. When you prepare for your 5-minute telepathic routine, do not merely close your eyes and drift. Bring your awareness deliberately to this sacred point. Feel the space between your eyebrows as if it were a gateway opening to infinite light. Let your intention be focused and sharp. This focused attention is like tuning an instrument. It aligns you with the highest frequencies of creation, making your mental signal clear and strong. Many do not realize that the power of manifestation is not in the quantity of thoughts, but in the quality and focus of attention. The third eye focuses attention with precision. It concentrates your imagination, your feeling, and your belief into a single beam. This beam pierces through doubt, fear, and confusion. It sends a clear command that cannot be ignored. When you direct your desire from this point, you are no longer merely wishing, you are declaring, commanding, and creating. This is why visualization is most effective when accompanied by a steady focus on the third eye. Seeing with the mind's eye alone is incomplete if the spiritual eye is closed or wandering. When you see through the third eye, you see not only the image but the essence of the desire. You feel its reality. You know its inevitability. This knowing carries power. Connecting through the third eye also awakens your intuition. Intuition is the voice of the subconscious mind, the messenger of the infinite. When you activate this center, you receive guidance, signs, and insights that steer you toward the fulfillment of your desire. The telepathic connection is two ways. You send out your intention and receive the silent answers. This dialogue is subtle but unmistakable to the attentive mind. This center is also the place where time collapses. When you hold your attention there, you move beyond past and future into the eternal now. The eternal now is the only true moment of creation. Your manifestations do not wait for future time, because in the realm of the third eye, all is simultaneous. You are both cause and effect, seed and harvest, dream and reality. This timelessness empowers your 5-minute routine beyond the limitations of ordinary thinking. Focusing on the third eye is not a complicated ritual. It requires only your sincere attention and quietude. You may place your finger lightly on the space between your eyebrows to help train your awareness. Then close your eyes and breathe deeply, letting your attention settle there. In that stillness, bring forth the image of your desire. Let it arise naturally, as if it were already true. Feel it there, in that sacred space. This practice strengthens your connection to the unseen and empowers your creative will. The more you practice this connection, the more effortless your manifestations become. Like a well-trained musician whose fingers move instinctively across the instrument, your focus on the third eye becomes automatic. You need not strain or force your thoughts. Instead, your desires flow through this channel with clarity and grace. You become a conductor of your reality, directing the symphony of your life with ease. Remember, the third eye is not a tool to control others or impose your will outside of divine harmony. It is a point of alignment with the highest good. When you connect here, your manifestations arise not from selfish desire, but from the universal law of love and harmony. This connection ensures that what you bring forth serves the greater good, including your own growth and joy. When you sit for your daily telepathic routine, let your third eye be the beacon that lights your inner world. Focus your will, direct your imagination, and feel your desire as present. This simple act transforms your practice from wishful thinking into powerful creation. The unseen will respond, and the visible will follow. In truth, the third eye is not something to be found, it is something to be remembered. It is your birthright as a creator, a silent witness that has always been watching from within. Awaken it, trust it. Let it guide you beyond the limitations of the ordinary mind into the vast expanse of divine possibility. Through this sacred center, you communicate telepathically with the universe. You speak the language of creation and the universe listens. Your thoughts become forces, your desires become realities, and your life becomes the reflection of your inner vision. The power lies within you, waiting only for your focused attention. To assume the transfer has happened is to step beyond hope and enter the realm of knowing. It is the sacred act of living from the end, of walking in the reality you wish to create before any evidence appears in the physical world. This assumption is not mere optimism or wishful thinking. It is a deliberate state of consciousness, a firm conviction that the invisible has already become visible, that your desire is fulfilled now, regardless of outward circumstance. Many falter in manifestation because they wait for signs, proofs, or confirmations before allowing themselves to believe. They live in two worlds simultaneously, the world of desire and the world of doubt. This division fractures the mind's power and delays the inevitable. The law of consciousness demands unity. When you assume the transfer has happened, you unify your inner world with your outer. You become one with your fulfilled desire. Imagine a man who has bought a house, but has not yet moved in. If he continues to live as if he does not own the house, as if it is still a distant dream, then the house remains an idea, a possibility that has not been realized. But if he begins to live as its owner, decorating, caring, and enjoying the space, he sets in motion a process that aligns all of reality with that assumption. He embodies ownership, and ownership becomes his fact. This is the essence of the law of assumption. You do not wait for the external to change and then assume. You assume first, and the external world rearranges itself to reflect your assumption. To do this is to operate from the cause rather than the effect. To live from the end is to be the cause of your experience. This is the most potent power you possess. Assuming the transfer has happened requires a shift in identity. You must become the version of yourself who already has the thing you desire. This means your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with that identity. You no longer speak of lack or delay. You speak as one who possesses. Your inner conversations affirm the reality of the wish fulfilled. This consistent inner state magnetizes the outer world to conform. Doubt, worry, and impatience are the greatest enemies of this process. They are like static on the radio, distorting your signal and weakening your transmission. When you assume the transfer has happened, you silence these intrusions. You cultivate faith, not faith as blind hope, but faith as a deep, experiential knowing. Faith is the soil in which your desire grows. Without it, the seed remains buried. The practice of assumption demands discipline and persistence. You may find that circumstances do not immediately reflect your new state. This is normal. The outer world moves slowly in comparison to the instantaneous shifts of consciousness. Yet, the moment you embody the fulfilled state, you have changed the course of events. The universe waits only for your consistent inner alignment to respond. Living from the end also transforms your emotions. Instead of feeling anxious or frustrated, you feel peace and confidence. Instead of reacting to what appears lacking, you celebrate what is already yours. This emotional shift is crucial because feeling is the language of the subconscious. When your emotions align with your assumption, they become a force of creation. Every moment spent acting as if your desire is fulfilled strengthens your manifestation. These moments accumulate like building blocks, constructing the reality you seek. Even in mundane activities, walking, talking, eating, carry the feeling of your fulfilled wish. This embodiment makes the invisible tangible. It invites others and circumstances to respond in kind. Assuming the transfer has happened also means relinquishing control over the how and when. The details of manifestation are the concern of the unseen forces that govern reality. Your responsibility is to maintain the state of fulfillment. Trust that the universe, which is perfectly intelligent, will orchestrate events to bring your assumption into form. Let go of worry and watch as the path unfolds effortlessly. This assumption is the essence of living by faith. It is not passive waiting, but active being. You are not waiting for your desires to come to you. You are living in the state of having them now. This living from the end is a daily practice, a moment-by-moment choice. It requires awareness and commitment to hold the inner reality steady despite outer appearances. When you practice this consistently, you begin to notice subtle shifts. Doors open, opportunities arise, and synchronicities appear. These are the footprints of your assumption becoming visible. They confirm that your inner state is changing the outer world. Such confirmations are fuel to your faith and encourage deeper immersion in the practice. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. When you assume the transfer has happened, you change the reflection by changing the source. This change begins in your imagination, continues through your emotions, and manifests in your reality. You are the cause, and your world is the effect. Therefore, refuse to entertain thoughts that contradict your assumptions. Guard your inner conversations as a precious garden. Weed out doubts and negative beliefs. Water the soil with feelings of gratitude, joy, and certainty. Your 5-minute telepathic routine is your sacred time to reinforce these assumptions, to align completely with the state of having already received. This practice will transform not only your manifestations, but your very being. You become a master of your reality, a conscious creator who moves confidently through life. The power to change your world lies in your hands, in your mind, and in your heart. Assume the transfer has happened, live from that assumption, and watch as the universe bends to your will. Within the quiet chambers of your mind lies a powerful tool often overlooked: the mental conversation. This inner dialogue shapes your reality more profoundly than any spoken word or external circumstance. The conversations you hold with yourself, silent, unseen, yet deeply felt, are the blueprints from which your life is built. To master manifestation, you must learn to use these mental conversations as daily exercises in mind power, consciously directing their course to align with your deepest desires. Every day, your mind speaks to you. Sometimes these conversations are filled with doubt, worry, or fear. At other times, they brim with hope, faith, and expectation. Yet whether positive or negative, these mental exchanges impress upon the subconscious mind and inform the reality you experience. The subconscious does not judge content. It simply accepts what is repeated and felt as truth. Therefore, you hold in your hands the sacred responsibility and incredible power to choose the nature of your internal dialogue. To manifest faster, begin to see your mental conversations as deliberate, purposeful acts. Instead of allowing random thoughts to flood your mind, take control. Begin each day with a brief, focused conversation in your imagination where you affirm your fulfilled desires. Imagine a friend congratulating you on the realization of your goal. Hear their words of admiration, the warmth in their voice. Respond with gratitude and confidence. This mental rehearsal is not fantasy, but preparation. It sets the stage for your subconscious mind to accept the reality of your desire. These conversations work because they engage both the intellect and the emotions simultaneously. The intellect hears the words, the emotions feel their truth. When you imagine hearing praise or recounting your success, your mind and heart align. This alignment impresses the subconscious with a clear, undeniable signal of your fulfilled state. This signal becomes the foundation upon which manifestation is built. Mental conversations are also a way to bypass resistance. Sometimes conscious doubt or external evidence may seem to contradict your desire. In these moments, the mental conversation allows you to reinforce your assumption quietly and persistently. It is a secret dialogue between you and your subconscious, a gentle yet firm reminder that your reality is different from what the senses suggest. Through this daily exercise, you override limiting beliefs and reprogram your mind with empowering truths. Use this technique not only in the morning, but throughout your day. Whenever doubt creeps in or negativity arises, return to your mental conversation. Repeat your affirmations silently. Imagine the scene of your fulfilled wish and engage emotionally with the idea that your desire is already yours. This repeated exercise strengthens your inner conviction and deepens the impression on the subconscious mind. Moreover, mental conversations help you embody the identity of the person who already has what they want. When you converse internally as if you are already successful, wealthy, or loved, you begin to act from that state. Your behavior, choices, and energy change accordingly. This shift in identity is crucial because manifestation follows identity. The world outside cannot help but reflect the person you are being inside. The power of mental conversations lies also in their simplicity and accessibility. You do not need special tools, lengthy rituals, or external validation. The mind is always with you. It is your constant companion. Learning to speak to it deliberately and creatively transforms this companion from a passive bystander into an active co-creator. Your inner dialogue becomes the forge upon which your future is shaped. Remember, the subconscious mind is like a faithful servant. It does exactly what you command. If you command with clarity, confidence, and feeling, it moves swiftly to bring your desires into form. But if your commands are vague, contradictory, or weak, it becomes confused and ineffective. Mental conversations sharpen your commands. They focus your will and clarify your intention. Practice mental conversations with patience and consistency. At first, it may feel awkward or artificial. Your mind may resist or wonder. This is natural. Like any new skill, mastery comes through repetition and persistence. Continue to return to your inner dialogues, refining their content and enriching their emotional tone. Over time, they become natural, spontaneous, and powerful. As you strengthen this practice, you will notice a new confidence emerging within you. You will carry a quiet certainty that your desires are already fulfilled. This certainty radiates outward, influencing your interactions and circumstances. You become a magnet for opportunities and experiences that align with your assumptions. Mental conversations also prepare you for unexpected miracles. By continually affirming and feeling your fulfilled desires, you open yourself to receive in ways you may not anticipate. The universe responds not only to your words, but to the openness of your mind and heart. Your mental dialogues are the channels through which this openness is cultivated. In your 5-minute telepathic routine, dedicate time to these conversations. Let them be the core of your practice. Imagine the scene, hear the voices, feel the emotions, and speak internally with conviction. This focused exercise sends a clear, strong command to the subconscious, and sets in motion the unfolding of your desires. In the end, your mental conversations are the invisible architects of your life. They design the framework upon which all experiences are built. By mastering this inner dialogue, you master the art of creation itself. Speak well to yourself. Choose your words with care. Fill your mind with the language of success, abundance, love, and joy. Through this, you transform not only your world, but yourself. Your mind's voice is your greatest ally. Use it wisely and deliberately. Let every thought, every silent word, be a testament to the reality you are bringing forth. This is the power of mental conversations. A power you hold now, waiting only for your command. You have within you all the tools needed to transform your life. The power to manifest faster, to shape reality with your mind lies not in external circumstances, but in the quiet mastery of your inner world. By recognizing imagination as your divine transmitter, embracing stillness as your signal booster, repeating your assumptions with devotion, and feeling the energy of fulfillment deeply, you awaken the creative forces that govern existence. When you engage all your senses, focus through the sacred third eye, assume your desires as already fulfilled, and harness the power of mental conversations, you align yourself with the highest laws of creation. This alignment is the secret to bringing forth your desires effortlessly and joyfully. Remember, manifestation is not a distant goal, but a present reality waiting to be acknowledged. Live from the end, speak the language of feeling and faith, and trust that the universe responds to your inner state with perfect precision. As you practice these principles daily, even in just 5 minutes, you will witness a profound transformation, not only in what appears around you, but in who you are becoming. You are the cause. Your reality is the effect. Step boldly into your creative power and watch as the world reshapes itself in harmony with your vision. The moment to manifest faster is now within you, waiting to be awakened and embraced.